Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does.
It really does.
Our in-between show.
I got to tell Michael, man, he put together an incredible show. Not only just is the individuals. You know, we talk about it being a personalized, and having Bruce and Diane here, it's a pleasure to get to meet y'all.
Pleasure to be
And
here.
then also, between the breaks, just all the great information you have, not only about life and about business and about real estate, just all of it combined is just incredible, by the way.
Awesome energy. I wish everybody out there could feel that energy. Bruce, you were talking about it when you joined the Diane's team back in 2004, is that correct?
Yes.
The first thing that came to my mind, the question was, what were the challenges working with your spouse?
You know, we talk about that a lot because there's challenges, of course, at any business. In a husband and wife team, you really need to spend some time and clearly articulate what you're going to be doing and what the roles will be. One of the things that Diane and I talk about to friends and family and anyone else, we've never been without a coach. We've never been without two coaches. The reason being is that in a business partnership, certainly with a husband and wife, the moment you start holding one of each other accountable, it impacts the house life. It impacts the bedroom. It impacts everything. So we learned long ago, you get a coach.
My coach said.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, Rob, the funny thing, right, is you sit together and you build your goals, and you build big goals.
Right.
And then individually, the coach says, all right, what part do you have? What part do you have? Now, let's put numbers behind that. Now, on a weekly call, we're going to hold you accountable. And maybe I didn't do all the things I was supposed to, and she's sitting over there probably snickering going, nail him to the wall, right? But what it does is it creates this incredible synergy because you're shooting towards the same goal, but you've got each one of you with your own accomplishments that have to be attained. There's no difference than in any business. You sit down, and as you do a budget, and as you do you look towards the future. What does each member or each division or each part of the company have to perform? So the challenge is truly our understanding what you're going to be responsible for, getting the accountability put in place, right? Having clear, discernible goals, and then figure out how are you going to make those steps, right? One of the things that we've always done is really about the training, the education, the learning.
Well, we had to go through a whole branding change because for 5 years it was Diane Kink. And so to change it from my first name to the Kink team, it was a whole process. And that's what one of the first things Bruce worked on was changing the branding and the marketing and the design and logos. And so that was just a shift in the market, actually, because everyone wanted Diane because that's all they had, you know.
And they probably still ask for Diane.
Well, they do, but one of the discussions we had, and again, I'll take this to any business, I said, as if in fact you truly want to build a business, as it grows, do you truly want to be the one that takes every call as you get bigger and busier? And the answer is, well, no.
I can't.
So
I couldn't.
you build a brand, you build a logo, you build an awareness, and then you surround yourself with brilliant people who are just an extension of what you want to be performed in your business.
Probably the best thing, though, was that coach. At the time, Dave Jinks was doing our coaching.
Oh,
and
I remember Dave.
It was almost like having a counselor or intermediary and life coach. And so Bruce and I would be on these calls weekly and sometimes twice a week when we were first starting. And Bruce's role, Diane's role, and how are you working together? And without that, I think it would have been a lot harder to.
You know, you've got this great formula. It's identifiable. You can draw it out. Why doesn't everybody do that?
Personal choice, misunderstanding. I look at it this way. I said, look at any business around you and then ask yourself a question. Is it one individual doing that business? And in most cases, the answer is no, unless you are an entrepreneur starting a business. And usually you ask the entrepreneur what his goal is to get someone else so I can start helping me, to get another person to start helping me. So I look at it and say, treat this as a business. You truly are the CEO of a small company. Do you have a P&L? Do you understand your numbers? Do you understand leverage? Do you understand that for you to attain your highest level of success, you have a gift that you can bring to the table, and now let someone else bring their gift to do the back end and the things that maybe you don't love?
Right.
Let's talk about the Woodlands market. We've talked about it in the past, but it is smoking hot up there.
Smoking hot.
Smoking hot. And you're getting a lot of cases where you have a house on the market, 2 hours, and you've got 10 offers. I mean,
it's more like 2 minutes.
2 minutes. That's right.
Yeah, it's really hot. And different price points are hotter than others, and the inventory at a lower price levels, maybe 300 to 500 or a month and a half inventory only.
Well, you've got one of the lowest in the area.
Inventories.
Overall, Houston is 2.6, but in the Woodlands, I know it's under 2.
It is for the lower price points. But $1 million to $2 million is still up at 8 months of inventory in the Woodlands. And so those hot ones are the ones that come on that are unique, that are really in great condition, show ready, and priced right. Still to today's market is the multiple offers.
That's a great segue because the question I had, because I'm hearing it from agents that sellers don't want to do anything in the house. They want to overprice it because they're hearing the news that it's smoking hot, and I can ask whatever I want. Why don't you comment on that?
Yeah, that's certainly we have sellers like that or meet people that want to do that, and my advice is stop and get it ready. In my experience is that when it's not ready and there's conditions, even if it's wood rot on a door or if it's paint falling off or maybe an AC issue and the ceiling, fix all of that, because the first thing the buyer's going to think is low ball, come in lower, and I'm going to come in and fix all this because it's probably in bad repair. If I can see this, then the house is probably in worse condition. So I'm always into getting it really make ready.
And
but to your point too, though, there's the discussions that are happening with the houses that are in phenomenal shape where they say, I want to go $50,000 above market. You're saying, hold on now, let's walk through the process. There's this thing called an underwriter. There's this thing called getting
an appraiser.
An appraiser.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this is where the agent, a professional agent, should come in with a phenomenal script about, let me explain the process. Because if in fact it does not appraise, if in fact underwriting doesn't push it through, now you're faced with loggerheads with somebody on the other side that said, look, I offered you list plus, and you're telling me you don't want to fix anything and you don't want to come down. It creates really
the seller expectations, are
exactly.
high.
And we go back to it is, one of the things, and I can say this because I see it all the time, is one of the things is the number one rule in real estate has always been price it right. Number one, no matter what the market is, how hot it is, right? Because on the other side, you have an agent who is looking at those comps. You have somebody who's going to make an offer who's saying, I know you want $100,000 more or $50,000 more, but it's not worth it based on the comps that we have. And as Bruce mentioned, you have all the other factors right there. But the other thing, an agent who was on our show a little while back said, you know what? It's always best to price it out correctly and have the market bid it up versus you trying to artificially price it out. Because ultimately, when you artificially price it, it comes down. Are you seeing the same thing?
Oh, exactly what I'm seeing. So that when we price them to market and we look at the actual ones that buyers have said yes to, which are the solds,
right,
then those are the ones that are hot, and they're the ones that get the multiples. When we have an overpriced listing that's not to those sold market pricing and that does bid it up or does start their listing price higher, if it's not sold or in contract after 8 or 10 showings, then we have a problem. We miss the market, and usually it's price. Because usually ours are in good condition when they go on the market.
That person in the market for that house is there that week, and if you overprice it, they've moved on to somewhere else.
That's correct.
And you just miss that hot sheet,
opportunity.
that first opportunity.
And I talked to someone the other day that they didn't take the highest comparable they could do to price a house. They said, I'm going to really kind of price it maybe slightly less because exactly what Chris is saying.
Very
I'm going to let
smart.
the market take it.
Right.
And it does end up, there'll be multiple offers, and they will be over list price.
And Rob, as we talked about multiple offers earlier, it is great for agents to understand you have to prep your seller up front and even prep your buyer that in this, what we call a seller market, it's going to happen. And if you're not prepared as a buyer to act quickly, and if you're not prepared as a seller to see what's going to come across and then evaluate each one appropriately, you're going to run into some challenges.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And another challenge that we're seeing out there, and we discussed it this morning over orange juice and kolaches, which was pocket listings. And, already in California, there's lawsuits starting because, the sellers were very happy with what they got for the house, but then they, a month later, another house down the street sold for substantially higher. And because they didn't expose it to the whole market. And so I know you're seeing a lot of pocket listings up in the
Woodlands
area.
Yeah, we personally don't do those anymore for the Kink team because I feel and our team feels that we're not given the best exposure to that seller. The world needs to know that seller has an interest to sell. We still may have a seller occasionally that wants to go promote it, but once I explain the market to them and we'll explain that going on HAR and then the worldwide net, we're going to tell the world you're available, not just one agent or one buyer or two buyers that may come in and might make the process simpler, but I don't think it's doing them service.
And it's not doing them a service, and it's not doing the industry a service, because the first thing appraiser does when they go look at comparable sales in that area, and if they're not being reported, they're going to go with whatever they have, which might be lower. So
Right.
if the prices are going up, they need to be recorded.
They have to be recorded.
So we know what the value.
You know, one of the things that I think we've seen, though, we talk about technology. We also see all these new shows on air, right? We see all these $1 million listings and $1 million homes
Sure,
and do
Bravo,
this, do that,
here
right?
we go.
Right, Bravo, right. And they're fun. They're fun. They're scripted.
Entertaining.
But one of the things that gives people a bad idea about, and you know where I'm going about this, is a lot of them show about these listings before it goes on the market. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Let me tell you, we are in a market here in Houston, which we have HAR. It is the number one
The best.
and the best in any industry, in any market across the board.
Agreed.
Why would you
Amazing.
want to keep your home off of HAR?
I think the thing we're trying to get people to understand, the market shifted. In a
Right.
buyer market, you're begging people to come look at it. In a seller market, they are looking, they are waiting. So give yourself the greatest advantage, get it into MLS, let the world see it, and then see what comes of it for both the agent, for the seller, for the neighborhood. It is a better way to go about putting it out to the world.
I
And
would
it is
agree.
a great time to put your house on the market, by the way.
Yes.
It is a great time.
Phenomenal.
And, you know, we
time.
often go. This is our 1 minute of begging and pleading. And everyone in the Woodlands who's listening, would you please put your house on the market?
It is time. And call the King team.
Call the Kink team. They will get your house on the market immediately. But seriously, a lot of people are concerned because they say, well, where can we go? And that has kept a lot of people.
That is
in
so
their
right,
house.
Rob.
Builders are building, lenders are lending. There is land to be developed, and there are jobs coming here, guys. Inventory is in progress and happening at a record pace. We need to continue to get our sellers to understand. Listen, as market prices go up, and they want to move from a 350 to a 500, so say it goes up 10%. All right, so 35,000 you thought you would have got, now 500,000, it's gone up 50. You're behind.
Right.
Well,
Dive
yeah,
in.
Well, you
because
got, it's time to right size. Get into that smaller house or bigger house and right size your home.
exactly. But that's a perfect scenario that you talk about it, because if you're waiting for that other house to go up,
going up.
it's going up.
It's going up.
exponentially greater. You know, I've actually showed people that, and they go, "Oh, yeah,
Never thought of that.
I'm going to lose $20,000 by waiting."
Yep.
So true.
But you know, we are going to lose. We're going to lose some airtime, and we're going to get in trouble right here if we
well,
don't
I
get
think
off
we
the
should go
air
to a
for our
break then.
break really fast, by
Yes.
the way.
We got to pay for the show.
We have to pay for it somehow. So time flies when you're having fun. I say this all the time. We have one more segment to go with Bruce and Diane Kink. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.